Welcome to Bottom Line Sports Talk. I'm George Abraham. You know my partner Albert Kempman. Well, Albert, the King is here. Football season, we refer to it as the King in both high school and college. If you don't believe it, just some Friday night wander up to your local high school and you'll notice for sure. You'll see the lights, you'll hear the band. Everything is just pointed this way. So what we like to do, every year we've been doing this since we've been on the air, we like to give you our thoughts on who the best college teams and pro teams. This is our college preview, and instead of 20 or 15, we decided to give you who we feel are the top 16 teams. Wouldn't that make a nice three-game tournament December, January? There's no school anyway.
And these 16 teams would make up a tremendous tournament because most of the time when George and I look at somewhere in there is a quarterback or a coach or a schedule that we like. And if it doesn't include those three, then that means they have talent way above on the other parts of the field. That means their defense is going to suffocate you. Their offensive line is going to be ground chuck. But we look for quarterbacks, coach, and schedule.
Yeah, let's talk number 16, Boise. Now, nobody has been the little engine like Boise. From knocking off Oklahoma in a bowl game. Last year, they gave Oregon, they dressed them up for a beating. I thought they were good, but I never saw that coming.
No, and you're talking about a team that believes they can beat anybody. That is Boise State. Coming out of the Mountain West, a lot of those teams just take the paycheck and go home.
Well, let's talk now. They open Troy. You got to be careful. That's a coach hand. Mm-hmm. Then they have it home. They're going to win that game with UConn. Believe me, UConn's not beat. But that next one, Oklahoma State better be on alert.
Yeah, it's at Stillwater.
I know.
And I know Oklahoma State's in the top 25 in the AP press. We're going to go with Boise, no question about it, because I'm telling you, Boise has a lot of people back, plus a good quarter, Ripien, and a good running back, Madison.
How about Ripien? Talk about him. The old guy. I thought it was his uncle or his cousin or something. It's Brett, but I mean,
yes.
He's not great, but he's more than serviceable.
And by the end of last year, they had benched him for a while. So you're going to play our style, and he did. He came back, and really checked the ball down, stopped throwing the ball to the other team. And Boise always is good defensively. And George, there's no team that gets 3 stars and makes them into 4 or 5 stars.
I told the Pitt guys
like Boise.
That Pitt guy got mad at me. I said something about them not having a guy on the All-Star team. And he said something. I said, you always have the option of doing what Boise does, get threes and coach them up.
Couldn't pick a better team to follow. They do it all the time.
Where they get them?
They get these 3 stars that somebody says they're a step slow or somebody says they are an inch too short. And before long, they are dominating everybody they play. And it's an overall thing. And I guess we always see the blue field. We see, I guess, when you go out, there's a great college town to be a part of, too. You get them on campus. That recruiting is big. Once you get them there, these kids say, wow, this place, Boise's pretty slick.
And the coach, and they have to have an outstanding conditioning and weight program to win with 3 stars.
Yeah, and they do. They make them bigger, faster, and stronger than they did when they came in. And Georgia's teams, I always brag about Georgia's teams of basketball. Boise has the same thing. They don't care what your name says on the other side of the jersey.
No, they're going to play.
No, they truly believe they're beating you.
Don't go in there to upstate. I still remember Blount punching that guy in the mouth because he got right in his face after the game for Oregon. They whooped up. That was Chip Kelly. He sent that guy his money back.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
The guy wrote him. He said, I traveled all the way from so-and-so to watch this crap show, and he got his address and sent him a check. Hey, 15, we got Miss State. I saw all I need in the bowl game last year against Louisville. And if they're talking a little turkey on Alabama. I'd wait till that game was over because I watched Mississippi State make Jackson look average.
They did. And so they're defensively, Mississippi State's going to run into that ball. They got speed and they got size. They really do. They have what you call SEC talent.
And if you listen to this guy, you know Joe Moorhead because when he came from Fordham to Penn State, you said, watch out.
Difference maker. He's a difference maker offensively because he can figure out what you're doing and do it better. And he'll attack you with his quarterback, attack you with his running back. And when you take over for with Nick Fitzgerald waiting for you, oh my gosh, this is a big time college player, a big kid who can fly, a big kid who can throw, somebody that Moore is thinking, man, I saw McSorley. I have somebody, yes, as big, do what he does and he's big. So, yeah, I really like the Mississippi State team. They are in a tough SEC, or they'd be in the top 10. But the SEC is hard to go
Well,
through.
they're in the last Saturday of the month. They're at Florida, but then games coming with Auburn, LSU, and Alabama later on.
And that's why. Their record might not guarantee how they look.
Yeah.
Because of that schedule. But
Hey, I watched them
they
last
really
year.
look good.
Last year on a Saturday night. They called Stark Vegas with the Cowbells. LSU made the mistake of coming in there
Did
and
they
not
get killed?
No, I'll tell you what. I felt bad for the boys. From the
LSU got talent.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's another thing that Moorhead, he knows 106,000 at Penn State was there every game, and he said, "Oh, this is unbelievable." Well, he is. He's going to be impressed on that home game with Mississippi
State. It might only be 70,000, but they'll be drunk enough to sound like 100,000. Those Cowbells.
Yes.
You don't think they're annoying to the visitor?
Oh, yeah. They try to tell every year. They say, "Please cut those out."
Yeah.
And every year they come louder.
Let's talk number 14, local. I'd have them higher if there weren't that stinking round robin schedule.
Yeah, that's the truth. This is the Mountaineers of West Virginia. This is one that if you read the papers isn't going to surprise you, because the expectations about the Mountaineers is nationwide. Usually it's just in the state of West Virginia, but not this year. They've considered the best quarterback in the Big 12 this year in Will Greer. They also have a defense they said is so much better. Well, George, they have a schedule that is going to challenge them. We're not sure about Tennessee and NC State. We're not sure, but we'll find out a lot about West Virginia early.
Oh, I'll tell you. Tennessee in the neutral has me nervous.
I can see why.
I just don't like West Virginia giving 10 points because historically they don't stop you.
Yeah, and that's why they're 2-9 against ranked opponents. It's not because they are not going to score points. They usually score, but those ranked opponents usually go up and down the field on them too.
And last year, Greer 34 TDs, 12 interceptions, but 3,500 yards. But as you say, the defense, and then NC State, that quarterback's back. That dude's been there longer than we've been on the air.
Yeah, they lost everybody. Well, I'll say that.
Yeah.
I think 6 or 7 starters back. If West Virginia, we got them ranked 14th. If they don't beat Tennessee and NC State, then they don't deserve to be in the top 25. There's no doubt about that.
How about that? You look down the barrel at your schedule.
Yes.
Oklahoma State, Texas, TCU.
They're all waiting.
And then who's the easy game? The old Silver Fox at Kansas State.
Yes.
Don't think twice because that boy can beat you. He take your clothes right off and you don't know you're undressed.
And that's why it's hard to go undefeated in that league, because they're also offensive juggernauts. If their defense happens to play that one day, you almost know that every team in that league is going to score 30 points going in all the time.
Okay, Khaki Pants at 13, coming off of 8-5. The only thing I'm nervous about, their D is going to be strong. You know his record against his rivals. It's awful. But you also know Shea Patterson's pretty good. And I hear from his old OC, he thinks he'll tear it up.
Well, we're talking about Jim Harbaugh, and we're talking about his 4th year. And that 4th year is a year that is always pivotal for coaches who are saying they're going to get this thing turned around. Michigan wants Ohio State record. They don't want 9-3, 8-4. The Wolverines are hoping that Shea Patterson comes in and does his magic offensively. Harbaugh is going to be tested because Patterson's going to throw the ball to the other team just as much as he throws to Michigan. He's one of those guys as a playmaker. Will try to make plays out of nothing. Usually not the guy that Harbaugh likes. He likes guys that throw the ball away, punt it.
We always look at the schedule. At Notre Dame, at Michigan State, at the Horseshoe.
Yeah.
That takes them out, in my opinion.
Yeah, so when we're writing this and we're rating the teams, we're not guaranteeing 13-0 records. We're saying we think they're the 13th best team in the country, but they are really playing a loaded schedule. We're going to find out right off the bat, guys. You people who love college football, they open up at Notre Dame. And when George called me and said, guess what?
They're favored.
Michigan's favored. So we said right away, that might be the one we have to jump on because Vegas would never.
Shea Patterson has to be good.
Yes. Vegas would never have anybody favored at Notre Dame that first game. Never. No
South
question.
Carolina at 12. Now, before you say, listen to these guys, they drank before the show. No Alabama, LSU, and Auburn.
Yeah, their schedule is one of the ones that we like. Well, remember we told you we look at quarterbacks and coaches' schedule?
Yeah.
This one fit the category all the way. They returned their quarterback. Their coach now has settled in. and their schedule is beautiful. And don't think they don't have players. You know, the state of Georgia and the state of South Carolina are right next, right there.
The second week they have Georgia, I'd say it's their season builder.
Boy, I know one thing.
They're home.
They're going to be playing crazy that day.
Can
Crazy.
they do? I mean, can they beat our boy Swifty?
We're going to find out because once again, the SEC, you very seldom does anybody go undefeated, and that will be a game that South Carolina is going to be really after big time. You're number 2 for Muschamp. He really has them thinking we can win after that bowl win. That bowl win sometimes.
Michigan.
Remember Michigan had them down, George.
Going in to seal it.
Yes, and South Carolina pulled it out, and in that locker room after the game, they were chanting that wait till next year. Mm-hmm. Wait till we come out next year.
9 wins.
Number 12, South Carolina.
Special teams. They have a returner that can make
Oh,
a
yes,
difference.
no question about it.
11 is you can pencil them, just stamping in every year. 5 monstrous linemen, a quarterback that doesn't make mistakes, a scat back that can go for 1,300, a wide receiver that can fly, and a big tight end that's always open. That's Wisconsin.
If there was a team that I thought could have been ranked higher, but we have so many Big Ten teams ranked that we couldn't put anybody lower. I think they could be in the top 7.
Me too.
And that's Wisconsin. They crushed Miami in the Orange Bowl 34-24. They really whooped them up. Their style of play is one that allows them to be consistent week in, week out. Very seldom do you get them, like remember last year Penn State's game against, or was it Ohio State? Who did I whoop up on last year? Was it Ohio State or Penn? It was
they whooped up Ohio
It was Ohio State.
It was,
Very seldom does Wisconsin have one like that.
that's not happening.
You know what I mean? Usually
No.
they're consistent, whereas Ohio State has one of those games all the time.
And they had that beat down. That was a good Miami team.
Oh, yeah, it was. Georgia liked them all year. Georgia was all over Miami all year.
But, man, when I saw they were playing whiskey, I jumped ship because there's something about whiskey. You know how they're going to. You know right now how they're going to play.
Well, and
how are they going to play?
Yeah, we know, and that is why Paul Christo was at Pitt.
And I thought he stunk, by the way.
He is the perfect fit for Wisconsin. He is going to not veer one iota from recruiting 6'6", 330-pound lineman, one great back and a second one who's durable, one great wide receiver and a quarterback that nobody else wants. But on 3rd and 8, he'll throw the ball on the ground and not throw an interception.
Punt team.
Punt team. And they're
stop
happy.
and get it back.
They'll stop you, and here they go
It's
again.
old trestle ball.
It is.
And it's.
Was that successful by ISU?
Yeah, how'd
Was
that
that
work?
successful by Ohio State?
Yeah.
Old trestle ball.
Hey,
it
number
works.
10, we got David
They play
Shaw.
like trestle ball too.
I know one thing. I know Barkley's good, but I know who my guy is running that ball back.
George loves certain guys. And this one he fell in love with immediately. Bryce Love.
He was hurt all year.
And when I watched him, this is why I did love. I love him. I loved Love. He come off that. He'd limp off to the field. He'd run for 6 yards, and he couldn't get to the sideline. He was hurting so bad, but he never quit. He kept coming out there all the time. They're going to play you. They're going to be tough on the line of scrimmage too. Kristen Shaw coached the same exact way.
Yeah, it's slugger.
And I've had that
5 tight ends.
I've had that phone call come from George. I hate him. The 3rd one, he has everybody in there like it's bowling. Everybody's tight together.
he won't.
And they're not changing. Stanford and Wisconsin.
He'll put 3 tight ends in there, and you know he's going to. They'll all be on this side, and he'll run it right behind all of them, get a first down, have the ball another 3 minutes, right?
Yes. That's the way they play.
Hey, they go to Notre Dame and Oregon
Another
early,
tough schedule.
to Washington and UCLA. You forget UCLA. The sissies don't beat.
They'll beat
sissies
them
don't beat.
Yeah.
them.
Is there ever a team you could circle and say, sissies, UCLA? They come out every year and say they're going to be good. I like to see it. And they didn't get a physical coach. Chip Kelly's not a physical coach. But Stanford is one. It's his 8th season for David Shaw. He wants to get to that next level, which means the Final Four. They're at number 10, so they have a shot.
All right, let's talk top 10. We'll get a little more time because these boys, in our opinion, are the big boys. We always talk schedule, quarterback coach. The quarterback at Notre Dame, it's average. It's not awful. Winbush is obviously a better runner. Coaching Kelly, I could take him or leave him, but the schedule's big. And, the thing about Notre Dame is they open with Michigan at home. They have Stanford later that month. The schedule's always, at the very least, better than average.
Yeah, one of the things that George and I will do, we'll study something notice something that nobody else noticed. And a lot of times you look at the head coach, and all of a sudden they brought Chip Long back, and Notre Dame's offense is 1,000 times better when he's calling the plays. He's always been he's a great offensive coordinator. I look for that's why that first game, we know how good Michigan is, but they're going to see an offense that doesn't look like anything they looked like last year. And anytime that Long is calling the plays, they are really, really good. Remember they lost by 1 point last year to Georgia. Remember they had Georgia beat at Notre Dame.
And Georgia ended up being
right there to almost win it
I'm
all.
watching a replay there night in national championship. It was 20-7 Georgia. I said, well, I thought I realized they should have won that game.
And so that's how good Notre Dame was last year.
Let's talk about them a little bit.
Yes.
A lot of advantages, with the games on NBC and such. They play a moderate ACC schedule. Pitt goes there this year. Pitt has historically played them tough.
Pitt always has done that too. I just think that Notre Dame with their quarterback, and that's why we have them number 9 instead of number 4. If Winbush or Book come out and play like they can, and we know Phil Jacovic went there, who's a tremendous quarterback. We know we see.
Well, he play, Albert. Let's talk about him for a minute.
Well, if he doesn't, I know those other two are really good. That's what I'm saying.
That's a good way of looking at it.
That's where I see it.
Hey, and they
will
redshirt him.
I know how great he is.
I think this year you're allowed 4 games.
Yeah.
So you can really get a guy's feet wet.
Yeah, I think that we have something to go by there. If Winbush starts and plays, that means he's really, really good. Because Jacovic is the real deal. The best player we've seen the last 15 years in Pennsylvania quarterback.
Yeah, when you think about it, going, Terrell Pryor, whomever.
And that's the only other one
you
matches up.
realize he did it against 6A.
Yes.
Which would have been 4A or A in our time. It puts it in a new light.
Yeah, you people saw Pryor
He's
play
in
at
Joe
Ohio State.
Namath territory.
Yeah.
I mean, for high school.
Oh, yeah. How about on high school? Jacovic and Pryor were the two best we saw lately. Pryor went on to have a really nice career at Ohio State. And Jacovic is much more grounded and much more got it together than Pryor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Not that goofy.
You had to do
look
something
at
all the time.
me,
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, no question.
Like the other day in the dugout, the Pirate game. Archer's in there with the hoodie on. It's 80 degrees. I want to take that hoodie and just shove it around and blind.
Yeah, we don't like to look at me stuff. We
and
like
that's
to
look at me all the way.
We like to look at team. That's
whoa. Literally. They've ruined it. It's a disgrace.
Well, it shouldn't be on TV. That's why.
It's a disgrace. Don't I watch last night? I'm flipping through that Williamsport game. And aren't the little boys in the stands there with their sunglasses on back behind their head, on their hat in a night game?
That's what they see. It's my grandsons.
Rip them off of them.
It's my grandsons.
God bless it. Notre Dame at 9, you're comfortable with that?
Yeah, not comfortable. They're really good. I'm not.
I didn't realize they were 10-3 this year, I'll be honest.
I'm going to lost to Georgia by 1 point.
And then LSU in a bowl. I fired Orgeron that day about 5 times. I'm serious. I fired him 5 times that day. He was so much better than them. But
that's LSU all the time.
Yeah, I'm leery opening game with Miami. I'd love to have them.
That's why they're not in the top 16. If I just went by pure talent,
there must
LSU be in the top 16.
Look up the NFL rosters, people.
Yeah,
look up the NFL rosters.
Yeah, Notre Dame at number 9 belongs there, no question about it. And I wouldn't be surprised as 3 people that I respect in the business have picked them to go in the college playoffs.
Phil Steele's one of them. He likes them, doesn't he?
So number 9. So that's
okay, let's do number 8, the Nittany Lions. The blue and white down there. They have the whiteouts. 4 points last year keeps them out of the tournament. They had run roughshod on Ohio State early, but when push came to shove, they couldn't hold the lead. They lose by a point. Then they lose by a field goal to Michigan State, and all of a sudden they're playing Washington in the not-so-give-a-crap bowl.
And they whoop Washington.
Yeah,
they tell you how good they are because Washington's coming back with a lot of people. James Franklin, as George said previously, very underrated coach.
Consecutive 11-win seasons. Now, I want to say that. He took over a cemetery. Mm-hmm. That place was dead on its feet. Illinois was recruiting on their campus.
Mm-hmm. And that's him. He is the guy that is a positive thinker. He's always on the go. A helicopter's waiting on his pad at all times. He's not wasting any energy or time. He's a full blast ahead. Gets along with every segment on the campus. He's the perfect college coach. And then he went out and hired good coordinators. Now, my worry is that he lost a really good one to Mississippi State. We're going to see how well the next one fits in there. But they do have a quarterback.
Okay.
And when you have McSorley,
okay,
you have a chance to do something serious, no question about it. They play Michigan. They play, and they are just ready to roll as the Nittany Lions. You always worry about the Ohio State game, don't you, George? Don't you worry about the Ohio State with Penn State?
Oh, no.
This year, though, they come in the Lions.
When it's at Columbus, I write it
Yes.
off. And when it's at Penn State,
You like
I
Penn State
think
every year,
they'll
right?
somehow win like that block punt 2 years ago.
I remember.
They had no business winning that game. But Penn State, with this type of, we think, high-powered offense,
they'll be
like
good
last
offensively.
year, they didn't play a normal game. Their normal game at the Horseshoes to get run out of it.
Right, that's the truth, and that is why we haven't heard Ohio State mentioned yet. They're going to be mentioned, but we don't think they could beat Penn State at Penn State. We really don't. George and I are one team. When that all whiteout comes out and they gear up for Ohio State really be ready. That quarterback.
I got to tell you, quick story. A few people. I'm watching one of those whiteout games when there's snow everywhere. These kids are throwing snowballs, and I'm watching, and they're taking these 3 kids. The police are taking these 3 kids out for throwing snowballs. They were my players.
That's funny.
I'm watching this game, and they're going, well, the the policia have taken 3
That
kids
is
out for
funny.
throwing snowballs.
That
I
is
look,
good.
it's these idiots that play for me at Butler.
That's good.
Hey, number 7, Washington, opening games in national championship. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Huskies, if you lose this game, your conference is done.
Yeah, they're the one team in the Pac-12. Stanford has a slight chance, but beside Washington, they have to win that first game, and those games are tough against Auburn, boy, because they're physical.
They won't be very rough. Auburn on that front line.
No, but Jake Browning is ready for them, and no question about it. He's done everything. Miles Gaskin's back also, so we know that Washington is ready. 7 top people have picked Washington to play in the Final Four. We don't have them because we have a surprise in there. But Washington is really ranked very high around the country, George.
Browning, everybody loves. Didn't one of these discontented guys go there, sit out of here? The kid from Georgia.
Yeah, the Georgia.
So he'll just walk right in there.
He's right.
Let's talk about this Peterson. We have to, because when he was at Boise, we didn't mess with him.
You still don't mess with him. He went into Washington and turned him around into a national power immediately, not just a Pac-12 power. He gets it. Calm, cool, collected, and really recognizes
Not snapping
talent.
the headphones and making the quarterback nervous and all that stupid Muschamp crap that I can't take.
He recognizes. He does. He recognizes talent. Somehow, some way, a player shows up at Washington, like the Ross guy who got drafted number 1 by the Bengals. No one had him rated in the top 20. He said, listen, he can run. He might not be able to catch in high school, but he can run. Comes to Washington, teaches him how to catch, and then he ends up being a top 10 pick in the pros. He recognizes talent.
You're dead on. You hit it. And let's just talk a little lineage in case people don't know. Washington, Don James, who was Saban's mentor. Don
Kent
James.
State. Yeah, we love Don James. You Ohio people love Don James.
Mm-hmm.
You know that he's an Ohio legend, and he went out and turned Washington into a powerhouse. We'd watch them on Rose Bowl
He's the one
Day.
that called Saban in. And he says, Nicky, he says, I want you to be a grad assistant next year. Nick goes, I was going to play baseball. He goes, hey, Nick, you ain't going anywhere in baseball. He said, it's about time. Your girlfriend's a senior. Miss Terry's a senior. He said,
Settle down a
be
little
my
bit, huh?
GA. And
Best
Nick
thing he ever
Saban
chose,
said,
huh?
he said, honest to God, he said, that's why I know these young kids don't always know what they're doing and all. Sometimes you just have to try something and you say, you know what, I like
Trust somebody that does know. Yes.
Good word. I like
Yes.
that trust. That's a good word.
Yes.
Number 6, we got the Buckeyes. I could have them at number 1 and sleep fine.
Yeah, and we would have. You Ohio State fans would have.
There's a little turmoil here.
Yeah, I cannot.
How's it going to affect them? Nobody
definitely
knows.
going to affect them. There is no way this is not affecting Ohio
Yeah.
State. Now, you guys out there are probably saying, well, it's going to affect them positively. They're going to step up for Urban. I don't see it. I see a new quarterback. I see super talent that's going to get them number 6. If they didn't have super talent, I wouldn't have them in the top 10. But their talent level is tremendous. Myers 73-8 since they came to Columbus.
73-8. How about that record?
Yeah, their talent level is tremendous. Don't be surprised if they get in the Final Four. But this league is so good in the Big Ten. And if they have any trouble concentrating on what they're supposed to concentrate on, so we have number 6, even though they have Big Ten talent to be number 1, 2, 3, or 4.
5, Oklahoma. They're our shirts off team, them and Ohio State every year. Nothing changes. Just flip the maroon and white on, and they look the same.
They'll look a little different just with Kyle Murphy instead of Baker Mayfield. And
Yeah.
that's why I have them number 5. Remember we said earlier in the show, coach, quarterback, schedule. They have the talent, and Ohio State has the talent. They're 6-5 with new quarterbacks, but they don't look the same as everybody else. Oklahoma will be returning players running all over the field. There's no question they're receiving threats. Mark Andrews, Jeff Badd, they can run, they can play. Great tight end.
I'm going to give you a warning. The last game of the year, they're in almost heaven. That's going to be the game.
Yeah, and by that time, we'll know a lot about Oklahoma's quarterback. The Murray kid got drafted number 1 draft in baseball. Yeah. He decided to play for football.
He's an athlete.
Yes, and then we're going to see if he can handle the pressure of the Big 12.
UCLA goes there, they'll beat them up like they beat everybody up. Sissy Boy comes in there for Florida Atlantic, they'll get beat up. Army will go in there and just get out athletes.
Yeah, they don't have the athletes.
Michigan State, this is my sleeper.
Yeah, that's the one we put in for George.
Yeah, they're my sleeper.
And when we say something, we stick to it. We don't say, well, we knew that.
Yeah.
We're putting Michigan State at number 4.
No.
With all their talent coming back, they have a quarterback. They have a running back from Hubbard Hill, no question about it.
Terrific runner. Scott's terrific runner. Scott's terrific runner.
And they are ready at all times. I think Dan Antonio is a underrated coach, and I think Lewerke is an underrated quarterback. And I know you're a big Penn.
And the interim president supports D'Antonio with some of this off-field nonsense. They got to clean it up.
Yeah, it's crazy. L.J. Scott.
Yeah.
L.J. Scott, you Hubbard people.
He's bad.
He's there to run somebody over on the goal line. Mm-hmm. He's a fun guy to watch. We root for local guys. Go get him, L.J.
Georgia at 3L, we know they're loaded, the talent at every position. I'd say they're like Noah's Ark. They got 2 of everything.
They do, and they lost Chubb and McCall. How do you say McCall? I think
Michelle.
Yeah. What they have though is the guy that we love, DeAndre Swift. Put him down.
Swifty.
And when you see him make his first 80-yard run this year, you'll say, "We heard that."
You guys that have internet accounts, he's 12-1 to win, or 25-1 to win a Heisman. Get him.
Good chance to get it. Swifty.
Who we got at number 2? Why don't we just make this every year and throw it out?
Yeah, it's 1 or 2. You can guess those 2, and you can toss them up in the air. We are going with the better defense this year. So at number 2 is Alabama. They will have 5 stars at every position. The quarterback call. I still think Saban's messing this up.
He and I love Alabama. We think Saban's a genius, but we think he's mishandling this one.
Yeah, I think you should name it and live with it, because right now the if you're looking into that,
what's Hurts 26-2.
Yes,
and Tua Tagovailoa come in and won the Georgia game.
Either one,
they would have got crushed.
Yeah, either one you're fine with, but you're not fine with one looking over his shoulder and thinking I'm coming out at any time.
Are they divided in the locker room?
Yeah, it happens. It happens without happening.
You're not trying to divide the locker.
No, and he's going to say that. But some of his buddies are here on this one.
Hey, you know what? I think 2 is better. We could win.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, number 1 team, Clemson Tigers. Number 1, Dabo Swinney, not Sweeney. Dabo Swinney, one of the truly great coaches. 40-4 to last year. Former Alabama receiver. Talk of his going back. I don't believe it'll happen. I think he has Alabama right in South Carolina at Clemson.
He does. National championship of 2016. He has 2 quarterbacks that are really good. But Bryant's his number 1, but he has Lawrence come right and waiting to come in behind him.
Your nephew thinks he can't win with Bryant. He can't pass well enough.
That's what he thinks. That's what he thinks. I think he's wrong.
Okay.
And I know you think he's wrong because I know you like him a lot. And they have a defensive line that is pros.
Pros.
All 3 of them came back.
Pros.
That was shocking.
Yep.
They'd all be number 1 picks. They all come back. They'll be all over the quarterback. That's why Clemson's going to beat Alabama in the national championship, because of their defense.
You heard it here on Bottom Line Sports Talk. See you next week.